another. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go.
Won't you join us? We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go. Sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love.
We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. I'm Russ Laguerre. I'm your assistant minister. I'm delighted to be here with you today. And can we give some more love to our incredible band? Ooh. Generosity. Generosity fosters trust, cooperation, and reciprocity, and it heightens our awareness of others' needs and deepens emotional understanding. And it's a vital way to connect with one another and to build community because it says, I love you and I've got your back. So whether you're in the room or you're watching online, please know that you are welcome here, where we work to connect through generosity by honoring diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I invite you to read out loud with me our mission. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. And we learn to embody our mission through our 5 spiritual practices. And will you read those out loud with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. Now, one of those practices, selfless service, is a big part of the success of our center. And today, we'd like to honor one of our integral service teams, our stewards. So here's a video from our treasurer, Karen Hatton, telling us all about how they hold our center's finances in integrity.
I'd like to give you a quick look into one of the most vital yet behind-the-scenes committees supporting the health of our center, the Stewardship Committee. The Stewardship Committee serves as an advisory role to our board. It focuses on the center's financial integrity and planning. Each month, we dive into the center's financial statements to make sure everything is neat and tidy. We review key processes like bank reconciliations and payroll. We recommend budget improvements and policy updates. We provide clear, user-friendly financial reports for our trustees, And we also take on special projects and may form subcommittees to bring in experts when needed. Who is on the committee, you ask? The board treasurer, that's me. Key staff like our Chief Operating Officer, Linda Hahn, and Financial Operations Manager, Mitzi Hughes, and 4 to 6 dedicated members with business or financial expertise. How do you get onto the committee? Committee members are invited to serve after an application and interview process. To qualify, you need a background interest in finance or business, at least 1 year as a member of the center, to have completed a Science of Mind basic class, and a strong love for the center, shown through active support and collaboration. The Stewardship Committee ensures transparency, accountability, and trust in how we manage and communicate our finances. We're here to make sure our center is both spiritually strong and financially sound too. So, while you may not see us on Sunday, know that we're behind the scenes every month, keeping the books balanced and future bright. A big thank you to all the stewards for your service to our center.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you to the stewards for all the wonderful work that you do for us. You can say hello to them. They have a table out in the social hall on your way out after service today. Be sure to thank them for that work that they're doing because it really is vital to our community, so thank you. We use flowers to share love and appreciation for one another here at the center. And today we have 2 flower dedications. The first is for Tom Ford, and it's from his wife, Marcella. She says, "Dear Tom, you are being celebrated for 80 years of a life well lived. Your generosity with your time and energy to your family and community is unsurpassed. Serving with enthusiasm, purpose, and joy is appreciated by many and does not go unnoticed. Thank you for your unconditional loving support throughout our years together. All my love, Marcella." Thank you, Marcella. Now, the second flower dedication is from Kathy Galvin, and it's for her brother, David Galvin. And she says, "My brother David loved airplanes and made flying and teaching flying his life's work. He was kind and entertaining and never did or said an intentionally mean thing in his entire 82 years. We wish him comfort and peace in his new life." Thank you, Kathy. Now we'd like to extend a warm welcome to our first-time visitors. First-time visitors, would you please stand as you're able or raise your hand? We'd love to bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of gratitude for joining us today. I know that somewhere in the music, meditation, prayer, practices, and Dr. Edwards' message today, you will find exactly what you need for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. Please know you are very welcome here. Now, sit back, please enjoy some music before we spend our short time in silent contemplation and prayer.
In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. So I wake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. So I wake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find God, I find myself.
Right here in this holy silence, the one presence, the one source of all life. It is that infills all of creation. It is that unfolds in and through and throughout all of creation. It is that supports and sustains everything, everyone, individuated and together. It is one life. And that one source is fully present here. We live in this sea of wholeness and goodness. And so I know it as the very source, the very life of my life, the breath of my breath, all that I am in every moment. And I know this as the truth of each and every one here. For there is nothing and no one left out of this divine embrace. And so I know today, in this moment, life is unfolding anew through this one source. In every expression, in the giving and the receiving. It is that inspiration divine that unfolds through all, guides and directs, supports, sustains all. And so I celebrate this knowing. I celebrate this sweet embrace of life, knowing it is right here, always right here. And then sweet gratitude for this, knowing I simply surrender, I let go into this embrace, and I let this be. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. I'm Ruth Barnhart, a minister here at our center. Please join with me in reading this morning's affirmation. I ignite creativity and abundance through my acts of generosity, and so it is.
Something great is happening, love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. We'll drop in one ocean, roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. The highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh, oh. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing, to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision and dance in new directions, explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today, lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh, oh. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream, one voice, one heart, one world. Stand together, one dream, one voice, one heart, one world. Stand together. Live the dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share the gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together. Live the dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share the gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Say it with us. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Last time. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together.
Nice to have you back, Sophie. Hi there. Good morning. One of the most powerful ideas I learned from this teaching, The Science of Mind, rearranged the way I think about everything in my life. It's the idea that generosity is a creative power, an act of creation. Before I found this teaching, I thought of generosity as something, well, that I had to do because my mother told me I had to. She told me it was right to be generous. My parents taught me to share and to help and to give, whether I felt like it or not. So generosity felt a bit like a duty, a moral habit. I didn't feel like I was making things happen in life through my generosity. And then Science of Mind opened up my understanding around the power that is inside of generosity. It taught me that generosity is the nature of the divine itself, working through me to create. It says it right in our teaching. We believe in the eternal self-givingness of life to all. Not a duty, just a description of the way things are. When we say life here in this context, we mean the divine life. You know, that which is creating constantly, sustaining, renewing all things. Life, constantly pouring itself into expression as you, as me, as trees, as music, as everything that is. And spiritual living then means when I duplicate that nature of the divine in my own expression, in my own life. And this is something we can observe and practice easily. It's quite accessible how when we are generous, it creates warmth and connection and courage. The columnist and writer Frank Luke said, if you can do something for someone who can never repay you, it will make you feel very good. And this is something that you and I can try for ourselves. We can test it. We can do our own testing. We don't have to let some speaker on a stage or some word in the book try to convince us. We can go and try this in our own lives. But if you're the kind of person who'd like a little more research to support it, let me tell you about the Greater Good Science Center at the University of California in Berkeley. They put out a white paper in which it reports that not only is generosity of evolutionary importance, because it helps communities grow and thrive and strengthens connections between people. Not only that, the research shows that acting generously activates the same brain pathways as does food and sexual intimacy. It feels good. Did you know that the word generosity comes from the Latin generosus? I think that's how you say it. It means of noble birth. And round about the 1600s, the meaning of the word, it grew. It grew to describe noble qualities, courage, fairness, gentleness, strength, open-handedness, qualities that are available to anyone regardless of their birth or their economic status. Anyone could get into it. And then the word evolved more. Later it came to include the ideas of abundance and fertility and vibrancy. And interestingly, the word generosity and generate share the same Latin root, meaning to bring forth, to give birth, to create. At its core, generosity is all about allowing something life-giving to move through us into expression. Just as the creative power of life generates new forms and new ideas and new experiences, generosity in us does the same thing. When we are generous, we become, I like to think of it like this, we become agents of the divine, participating in an ongoing act of creation itself. It helps me to think about generosity that way, as something more than a duty, something to do. I like to think of it as an attitude toward life, a state of mind. I like to think of generosity as life itself in me wanting to express itself. So as I learned more about generosity through Science of Mind, I learned to drop this attitude of generosity as a duty and to shift my focus to look to see in life where it was possible for me to give more. And I can tell you that as I practiced that, it felt like I was coming home to my authentic self, and it opened up all sorts of experiences in my life. Let me tell you about a story from the World Ministry of Prayer telephone line. In our movement, we have the World Ministry of Prayer, and it used to be staffed in the days when we had landlines. There was an office in downtown Los Angeles with booths and telephone lines with prayer practitioners sitting there, and they would receive calls from all over the world. It was wonderful. And I served on the World Ministry of Prayer phone lines when I was new to Science of Mind. I just loved it. And then in 1992, when the Los Angeles riots broke out, the building of the World Ministry of Prayer was right in the line of the riots and the looting. And so the building was evacuated for service, and the telephone lines were shut down. And a friend and I, we were talking, we both served, and we said, this is crazy. I mean, the one place that should stay open right now is the prayer lines. So we scratched our heads and decided, well, we're going to do something about it. We got into our car and we drove downtown and reopened the building and turned on the phones. I felt so good about that. I felt noble, you know. I thought to myself, this is what the people need right now, and I'm giving it to them. And the phone started ringing immediately. But do you know that no one was calling in about the riots at all? They called in about ordinary heartache, relationships ending, jobs being complicated. And I remember feeling so disappointed. Really? The city is burning down and you want a prayer about your relationship? Until I remembered what I'd been taught. That the creative power of life itself gives to all alike without prejudice and without preference. And I came back to my senses and remembered that my work was to meet people where they are, not where I think they should be. So we prayed about whatever was on people's hearts, because that is how life is. Its creative power flows to all alike generously. Why should I be any different? I learned that day that people with a generosity of spirit give because it is their nature to do so. Their urge to give and serve is not dependent on how the world reacts to them or receives their generosity. And I know that is not always easy. Let me tell you about Nadia Hussein. She illustrates this. Some lead up to the story. I'm currently watching the latest season. I think they call it a collection of the Great British Baking Show. You know that show? Anybody else watching that? It's just delightful. And it reminded me that in 2015, the winner of that season was Nadia Hussein, a British Muslim woman. I remember her very clearly. In a BBC interview that year, she described the verbal and physical abuse that she endured regularly because of her faith and her dress. In the interview, she said, "Yet, I love being British and I love living here. This is my home and it always will be, regardless of all the other things that define me. And I want my children to be proud of that. And I don't want them to grow up with a chip on their shoulder. So I live as positively as I can." And I thought to myself as I listened, that is generous. That is a generosity of spirit that I don't know that I have. And it's not a denial of injustice. It is a refusal to let hatred define her and confine her and to steal her generous nature. She named the harm, and at the same time she chose dignity and compassion as a response. And she wanted to show that to her children, that it is possible to rise above bad behavior even when everyone else around you is engaged in it. And that planted a seed idea in my mind. It always remains possible to choose a better response and to live with dignity and to be generously proud of who you are. And as a result, her example, her role modeling reached millions of people. She became very successful, possibly the most successful winner of that show to date. And it reminded me that generosity of spirit doesn't necessarily mean that I have to accept abuse or ignore injustices or let bad behavior carry on. No. Inside of generosity, clear boundaries can still function well. And I can still advocate for change. It still is about staying grounded in my humanness, even when others may forget theirs. I do believe that when we tap into our generous nature and turn it into a practice, that it's inspirational. It creates forgiveness possibilities and hope, and it develops courage in us as well in the people around us. My father was an example of a generous spirit under duress. He taught me about the connection that exists between generosity and courage and bravery. Those who know me a little closer, they know that I can be quite a prankster or a joker. And I got that from my father. He was tremendously generous as a human, not wealthy in the traditional sense, but abundant in joy and in humor and connection and loving kindness and attention to people. My brother's birth was complicated and it left him with brain damage as an infant. And my parents chose to care for him at home, which tested every bit of strength and patience that they had. Life was very hard growing up with him. Yet my father never seemed to let hardship harden him or steal his generosity. It was as if he saw every challenge as an opportunity to give more. even on the toughest days, he kept his humor. His warmth and his willingness to show up as himself, it was a gift to the world, and he gave it generously. You know, people who knew him, they felt safe around him. They felt respected by him, seen, welcomed. He practiced generosity as a way of life. I remember things he would say. Can I help with that? Can I show you what I'm learning? Can I get you something? Can I sit with you? Can I know more about what you're doing these days? It was who he was. I think he discovered a secret. The secret being that generosity builds an inner joy and changes the world for the giver and the receiver. And it seemed to me that his giving filled his tanks up. It didn't leave him empty. It's not that through his giving he was depleted. He was enriched. Back to that Berkeley white paper, here's what the research shows. It's The Science of Generosity is the name of the paper, and it summarizes this way. While popular culture may suggest that happiness comes from focusing on yourself, research suggests the opposite. Being generous makes you happier and healthier and live longer. Now, the paper also states that while small acts of giving increase happiness, the real magic is in sustained, ongoing generosity. That really deepens our sense of joy. And it helps me understand why it is I think that people who practice generosity on an ongoing basis, they seem to be happier, more content, more grounded, easier to be around. Not because their life is easier all the time, not because they never have any challenges, no. It's more because their orientation, their North Star, remains toward being open and giving and in the flow of life, even through difficult times. At the center, I learned about this. I learned to think about generosity as something holy, as a spiritual practice, part of the law of spiritual circulation. I learned to think about it as a practice that helps keep me in the flow of spiritual life. And true spiritual generosity also includes the wisdom to know when to say no. It also means knowing how to care for yourself so that when you do say yes, it's genuine, because a person can't pour from an empty cup, and you don't have to. Now I think of generosity as participating in creation itself, you know. I see it as, well, it makes things happen. It strengthens connections. Fosters goodwill. It shows loving kindness, but most of all, it helps me stay rooted in my true nature. It helps me see my role and your role as being a channel for life's self-givingness. And that can be through all kinds of ways, through small gestures of helpfulness, through listening, through laughter, through forgiveness, through being courageous. I believe that there is an impulse within each one of us, an urge to bring something new into life all of the time. And I believe that urge is your natural born generosity waiting for you to express it. So this week, I invite you to pay attention and notice where your generous nature wants to move you. Maybe listen a little more. Maybe appreciate a little more. Maybe help a little more. Maybe contribute a little more. Maybe be welcoming a little more. Maybe nurture, tend to a little more. Maybe forgive a little more. And in all the time that you're paying attention to the more that wants to take place, don't forget to do the same for you. To fill your tanks too, so that you give from the overflow. When generosity becomes your way of being, I believe you're aligning with the creative power of life itself, and you become part of that thing we call the eternal self-givingness of life. And that is the highest form of abundance that there is. I invite you to take a breath in with me. And as you exhale, if it feels comfortable, let your eyes close for a moment of prayer. There is one life, an infinite creative power that gives of itself endlessly and eternally. This divine presence is pouring itself into expression as all of creation. And it does so without hesitation, without conditions, without reserves. It expresses itself as the trees, music, compassion, nature, breath. It is the eternal givingness of all life. I am one with this divine nature. Its self-givingness expresses as my generosity, and this I hold to be true for each person here. The same creative power that gives life to everything flows also through me and through us right now. I am an expression of life's abundant creative generosity. I pay attention to the impulse to give in me and honor it. I look for opportunities to contribute, to uplift. I explore my spiritual birthright today, realizing I am connected to the source of all generosity. Throughout the day, then, I reaffirm my nature as being generous. I recognize that generosity is the natural expression of who I am. In so doing, I am aligning myself with life and with its eternal givingness. I am opening my mind and my heart to let generosity flow freely from me. I let myself give from joy, joy in participating in creation itself. I release any belief that generosity depletes me. I know instead that giving from my authentic nature is filling me up with joy, with energy, creating connections and meaning. I say yes to opportunities to listen more deeply, to appreciate more fully, to help more readily. I honor the wisdom to say no when needed, trusting that caring for myself allows my generosity to remain genuine and sustainable. I notice that right now I am filling up with a sense of gratitude for this awareness. My heart is full with gratitude for the creative power of life that gives itself not only to me but through me. I am grateful for every opportunity to express my nature. I'm grateful for every moment that I remember to align myself with life's eternal givingness. And as I bring this prayer to an end, I'm letting go, releasing this word of prayer into that aspect of the divine that we call the law of mind, as a reminder to know that it is listening, receiving, and acting upon that which I pray in mind. This sets me up to let go and to allow life to express itself freely through me as abundance. And I make space in my mind to look forward to and look for the countless beautiful ways that creation is supported through my participation. Let the next breath you take be deeper than the one before. Exhale. And help me bring this prayer to a close by saying gently, and so it is. And followed once again by another even deeper breath like this. As we use the breath to make the transition from prayer time to sharing time, which is another aspect of the law of circulation. I invite the ushers to stand as you prepare your gift. I want you please, at some point when you're ready, place your hand on your chest as a symbol of your heart connection to your center and say after me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. I
instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace.
I am an instrument of peace.
Thank you again for all the gifts that you share with this community. And thanks again to our incredible band, Sophia and Chris and Fran and Brett and Nick. I know that many of the struggles that I encounter in life tend to be tied to my beliefs and the ways that they limit me. And perhaps you've encountered this yourself. And I know that these beliefs can stifle hope, they can stifle creativity. But there's good news. The good news is that we can shed the beliefs that hold us back and then embrace new beliefs that are grounded in our inherent self-worth. And that's exactly what you will explore and more in our brand new Beyond Limits class. Because over 8 weeks, you'll explore meditation, affirmative prayer, spiritual circulation, and more. In fact, all of those spiritual practices that we said this morning. So join Peggy Weber. She's right here in the audience. You can talk with her, and Lorena Fisher will be here next week too. They're co-teaching this class, and that'll begin tomorrow on Zoom, Monday, October 6th at 6 p.m. And join that class. You'll jumpstart your Science of Mind practice, but be sure to sign up today so that Peggy and Lorena can get you all the information that you need. Now, I have a question for you. Do you know what's acceptable and healthy for you in your relationships? Do you know how to live a life that's guided by courage and conviction? Well, if you don't, or if you want to find out more, you can join Dr. Edward in his brand new class called Setting Boundaries. That's starting this Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. And in this class, you'll learn all about what strong boundaries are, what they are not, and how they can help you live with integrity. And you'll also learn about the difference between boundaries, rules, and agreements, because it turns out there is a difference. So we look forward to see you there. We're offering that class in the hybrid format, so you can join us in person in Wagoner Hall, or you can join us online. The first step is recognition. The next is unification. The third is realization. And then gratitude and release. What did I just describe? Spiritual mind treatment, yes. And those are the 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. And you can find out what those steps are all about in Dr. Edwards' new workshop that's coming up on Sunday, October 12th, Spiritual Mind Treatment for Beginners. And that'll be happening at 1 p.m. after our second service. And in this workshop, you'll learn all about those 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment, how you can put them together so that you can bring about the life that you've always wanted to live. Or if you're living that life, you can continue to affirm it. So we have education catalogs available for you at the info desk on our website. You can also sign up for these classes on our website and at the info desk. And by the way, we have scholarships available for Beyond Limits. So if you'd like financial assistance for taking that class, that is available to you. Come talk to me after service or send an email to education@cslsr.org and I will get you hooked up with that. Now, if you are an artist or a crafter, we want you, and we want your arts, and we want your crafts. We invite you to donate your original high-quality arts and crafts to our December Arts and Crafts fundraiser. And our art team will be here next Sunday in the social hall to answer any questions and to accept your works. But don't delay, because October 12th, this coming Sunday, is the last Sunday for you to donate your arts and crafts. So be sure to bring them in by then. So I thank you for being part of our community, but please know that the community does not have to end on Sunday. I invite you to join us each Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our Wednesday evening service. And this Wednesday, we're exploring chapter 6 of the book, Basic Ideas of Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And that chapter is called The Power of Directed Emotions. Ooh. I'm really excited about that. In fact, Peggy Weber is going to be speaking for the first time on our Wednesday that day, so I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for being here, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Reverend Russ, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited about that class on boundaries, because when I started understanding the difference between a boundary, an agreement, and a rule, it helped me get clearer for myself, and that is spiritually significant. When you get to know yourself, understand your values, and know how to express them, you can use that in your prayer work for exact direction. So a boundary, for example, is I don't accept work calls at home after 9 p.m. A rule is don't call me after 9 p.m. An agreement involves a negotiation, and so understanding those differences and the different kinds of boundaries, a soft boundary, a hard boundary, a porous boundary, and renegotiated boundary. Oh, it's so exciting. And the workbooks are such that they have got a lot of home exercises if you want extra credit. So we'll do work in class, and then each workbook for each week is a standalone. You can use it to explore boundaries even further in your life. It's great. And the spiritual mind treatment, that's the name for our form of affirmative prayer. And by the way, I've got a copy of today's affirmative prayer. I'll be under the statue of Saraswati. Just come by and pick it up, and you'll see it's organized in the 5 steps that Reverend Rice mentioned. Recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. Big words, but really easy. So spiritual mind treatment for beginners, we're going to learn an easy formula for you to come up with your own affirmative prayers. And then for extra credit for those who want it, I will show you how you can use ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, to help you learn about spiritual mind treatment. But you have to be very careful. You have to train ChatGPT to do it correctly. So I will give you prompts, engineered prompts, to use with ChatGPT so it doesn't give you gobbledygook. Because if you right now ask artificial intelligence to write a spiritual mind treatment, it's going to come up with something wrong. It's going to have errors in it. So you have to train it to do it correctly. And then when you do that, not only are you training ChatGPT, but you're learning yourself, because you're reinforcing the correct ways to do spiritual mind treatment. It's so exciting. Am I the only one? All right, if there is something that is incomplete in you, or you cried yourself to sleep tonight, or as Reverend Russ said, you're living the life of your dreams and you just want to affirm more of it, don't go home without taking advantage of the in-service prayer. One-on-one prayer practitioners right here in the building waiting to hear from you so they can custom make a spiritual mind treatment for you on the spot. And if you're online, you can do the same thing with our individual private Zoom rooms. Just go to our website for information. Practitioners are waiting for you right now. So if you're watching us online, please take advantage of it. They are so excited about generously giving their time in prayer to your request. With that in mind, won't you please stand and say, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I feel it, I think it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Let's close in song.
I release and I let go, and let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.